So now Optimus Gang have to do the difficult task of trying to regroup going into a game 2 here, and we'll get those pixel bands going for you right here, right now. But it's not... Clearly something is amiss, I would say, here with this Optimus Gang team, based on what we saw in Game 1, that we have not seen them look that way all split.
No, we have not, and I don't know if it's, you know, missing Johnny. I don't know if it's the team environment or what's going on there. Maybe some issues with the connections or something like that. You know, maybe who knows? Because you expect that a team knowing that. I mean, Optimus Gang know if they lose this set, they're done. They're done, and their season is over. So I can't imagine that they are willing to just throw up an F6 vote because they're annoyed at that point. I mean, that would be a really bad sign for the competitive mindset of these players overall. I mean, even outside of this year, that is a critical thing to look at and be like, well, when the going gets tough, these dudes would rather just bow out than play it out. So I'm hoping that there's something else going on in that spot than just them getting frustrated.
Let's hope so. As you said, they do still have another chance. They have to win both of these games just to keep themselves in contention, and then they essentially have to hope for Poppies to lose, right, and gain that three-way tie, try and get a chance back in. Even if they win this game, if Poppies just win at the end of the day, then it doesn't matter, really. So this is just to try and keep their slim hopes alive, as they will pick the Mercury first overall. I like the idea of giving this pick over to GetFisher, prioritizing it for him and keeping him comfortable. They got to make sure that they get more than 9K, though.
I agree. Hopefully he's able to build some actual offense this time around instead of just defense. As Janus and Apollo adding some extra global pressure to the draft, I think is a pretty good look.
Especially with the Athena already banned out, go ahead and grab this one and the Chernobog. That's probably the best you can get for moving around the map this quickly with those two picks, so they should be in a very good spot. They are going up against, though, the Jing, Erlang, Shen, and the Sylvanus. Might have some flashbacks to Genetics Game 1 plays on that one, and the Erlang Shen, truly an oppressor in the jungle.
Why not? I mean, we just won in 11 minutes. Like, run it back. Absolutely, if you're Insignem. There's no reason to change anything up if you're Insignem after a game like that.
And they're going to make it worse by banning away the Amaterasu. Sylvanus is already pretty difficult to match in terms of pressure with how quickly he clears the wave. You take that Ama off the board, it's very difficult in the duo lane now to try and keep up with.
It is, and without the RDO there either, or the Kepri, those are two other pretty decent pressure selections in that spot, then you're already looking pretty thin in the Guardian role. Yeah, good luck now. I mean, Ganesh is on the table. That's probably not going to do you a whole lot of good. Geb is here, but low pressure.
Right.
Maybe a Ymir is good against Terra, Sylvanus, and Erlang. Gives, I mean, it'll guarantee the game ends one way or the other quickly, because Ymir always does end the game one way or the other quickly. Kumbhakarna is fine.
That's not bad.
But it's still not quite as good as a pressure pick.
No, I would agree with you there. I think Groggy Strike is a nice tool, especially before the lanes meet. Maybe you can get some poke if they move up. But aside from that, it might be tough to match what Sylvanus Jingwei can put out. As Raijin comes in, that's one more god that has a ton of early pressure. Once that Raiju Percussive Storm is there, that clear and poke is insane.
It isn't great against Mercury because Mercury can immune the slow very easily from Raiju, but it is good against Mercury in the sense that you can get up and over walls very quickly where Mercury cannot. So I really like this Raijin selection. It pairs great with the Erlang Shen. There's already so much CC. This brings a little bit of extra control and great damage. Plus, he can build Spear of the Magus and make this Terra do a ton of damage.
And they should have pressure everywhere else aside from the duo lane, I would imagine, right? I mean, maybe not mid, but you have a Mercury in the jungle. Bellona over in solo lane should be fine as well, I imagine.
So yes, solo lane, Sibi has got to get big in this game if Optimus Gang want to win.
Well, let's see if that happens. Again, if Insignem win right here, Optimus Gang are out. Optimus Gang need this win to keep everything moving forward for them. Can they find it? Hindu and Taco should have the answer.
Well, I mean, we won't have the answer. Hopefully Optimus Gang do. And the start of this game, let's see how this begins. Fusify is going to be invading onto the speed buff, but so late it was already Christmas is what the situation is there. And not Christmas for Fusify, Christmas for LASBRA, as now he's going to get some help at the camps too. What is Fusify doing?
Fusify just seems to be really committed to trying to steal these early buff camps from LASBRA, but he's failing at every single aspect of it. Now with the assistance of Sibi, they might be able to get a little bit of a better invade going here. Bludgeon already starting to bring down the mini-minions, and Zearoe looking to finally provide a little bit of assistance here for LASBRA. But
well, I mean, he's level 1 Terra. He's not going to have a whole lot. LASBRA is being forced out by Fusify, who's denying himself quite a bit of experience. This was the play from Optimus Gang then. Fusify forgoes experience to get his jungler and solo laner ahead and keep LASBRA on the back foot. The problem is on this left-hand side of the map, things aren't going as well for them as they would like. Kespainify is having to deal with 2 characters on his own.
Kespainify is level 2, though, so he probably has his escape available. Sibi, gotta be careful here up against Zearoe. Might have eaten a little bit too much creep damage than what he was bargaining for. The bludgeon should help him out, however, at least until Zearoe gets that wall stun up and running.
Yeah, FaraKrik in the mid lane, though, took a bit of poke damage out of DeathPanter on that Raijin earlier on. As you can see, he's just below half, well, just above half health, I should say, for the time being. Fisher, though, looking to capitalize on putting LASBRA behind a little bit, who's still level 2. GetFisher on LASBRA's Harpies on the other side of the map and climbing towards that level 4. So this is a good situation now for Optimus Gang as they try and fight back into it. And Fisher looking for a gank onto Zearoe.
It's a better situation than what they were in for game 1 here. And Zearoe, actually, the unsuspected, doesn't have an escape right now. Going to try and use that monolith for a little bit of healing, but it's still not enough for Sibi and GetFisher to try and bring this Terra down.
Biggest thing there is Zearoe hitting level 3 on the Terra. He got his monolith, and that meant he couldn't be thrown. If he got thrown by GetFisher there, it would have been a kill. Beads forced again by Genetics, who's doing beautiful work with these pulls more than anything else, but Joshy's knockup was amazing there.
I love the synergy that Genetics and Joshy have been portraying on this Jing Sylvanus combination. It's either the Persistent Gust into the pool or the pool into the Persistent Gust. Either way, it's working out wonderfully for Insignem.
It's really funny how that composition works as well, because Sylvanus' early game is a little bit better than Jing in terms of wave clear. Blink from Fusify to contest this red buff. Will he secure it is the question. He does and picks it up for himself. Now Genetics in a very awkward spot as he's rooted in place and pulled in. Optimus Gang are going to get first blood and Mercury gets it. That's better. Optimus Gang back in the game. Infinitely
better start here for Optimus Gang, and they're not done just yet. Seems like they're going to take a gander over at Insignem's red buff, and I think only DeathPanter's local to try and contest it. Won't be successful in doing so, however. Kespainify and Fusify already having dropped it. Joshy, all the while, was secretly chipping away at this purple buff, and he will manage to maintain control of that one for Insignem.
So the dual lane of Optimus Gang both walking around with red buffs around the waist for the time being. After taking themselves in mid lane though, Fisher's getting aggressive again, but got to be careful on LASBRA and Panther with the full minion wave being there. But now GetFisher and FaraKrik have an advantage over Insignem with them both being level 5. And this is where Optimus Gang has this ridiculous amount of mobility across the map, not just with poles, but with Mercury and an Apollo too.
But can Optimus Gang maintain this steady pressure over Insignem once all the Insignem members hit level 5? That's what I'm uncertain of, because Insignem, I think, are going to be able to bounce back from this. It's so early on that Optimus Gang weren't really able to punish as heavily as what we saw in the last game, for example. Insignem, the way they punished Fusify time and time again for having died so early on in that support role. And yet we haven't really seen much of that.
Oh, the amount of damage to Zearoe. He's just pumping into Sibi there. Sibi did not enjoy that at all, but didn't panic enough to use his Eagles rally defensively. Zero's ult now on cooldown, but at the same time, LASBRA could be swinging in this direction relatively soon. Zearoe just trying to zone Sibi off some of these last hits if possible. At least a little bit of the experience.
Eagles rally going to avoid the stun for now, but that does mean that Sibi will no longer have that escape route available. Probably doesn't need it though, with the amount of times that he seems to have had another member come over to provide assistance here in this solo lane.
Yeah, Fusify now still level 4, looking to rotate around. Obviously, he's still equal level with Genetics though, so he's not behind an experience for the time being. But these early rotations, we've seen this out of some supports before, looking to pressure it. Zearoe just wasted everything on clear, now rooted in place. But I don't think they've got the damage alone to bring down this Terra.
I'm just not sure how to feel about Optimus Gang putting so much priority into the solo lane, because pressuring out Zearoe probably not going to yield to much of anything. He went for the Guardian's Blessing. He's anticipating a losing matchup. And if it costs him a couple of blue buffs in the process, I don't think he's going to really care so long as Insignem can make up for it on the rest of the map.
Sonic boom in mid from Fisher, gets the beads out of Panther, who leaps away immediately. Nice little use of the beast there from DeathPanter, but on the left-hand side, Kespainify under pressure, low on mana, getting auto attack down to high heaven. The airstrike was there for good measure. LASBRA gets the first kill on the board for Insignem.
Kespainify was just trying to finish killing the creep wave so he could get the experience, but even that won't end up going his way here, and Insignem tying things up on the scoreboard. Optimus Gang have looked to be aggressive, but they haven't actually found any picks outside of that early one onto Genetics.
I didn't actually catch Kespainify use his ultimate there, but he must have used it momentarily before that. I guess he came back to lane with it potentially, and then gets picked immediately, which is very unfortunate for the Apollo. Sibi, though, having a good time against Zearoe so far with all this work Optimus Gang is putting in towards Zearoe, this Terra. He could be in a lot of trouble here. Off the mark with the CC chain, though, on the damage at least, but they will get a kill. Fusify is going to cost him his life for this, however, as Genetics' rotation is beautiful to make sure Fusify does fall in this position and make sure it's 2 for 2. Ooh, maybe not. Okay, eventually.
Even better. That's even better still for LASBRA. The fact that he'll be able to just rotate over to get a freebie kill onto the Kumbhakarna, no longer having the passive either. Joshy and DeathPanter, though, looking to chase down FaraKrik, but Janus will just do the Janus things and portal through the wall.
He's got portals. He's the god of portals. What do you expect? He's in trouble? Portal away. No problem.
If DeathPanter had Taiko drummed him, it could have at least forced the beats.
Very true indeed. But maybe his Taiko drums, well, his Taiko drums were up, but by the time he's cast out, it's kind of risky.
It's a pretty slow cast time in comparison to how close FaraKrik was to the wall.
Yeah. And that's always, we get the opportunity to see the bigger picture too, so just make it a little bit easier. Gold lead though, 1,300 roughly in favor of Optimus Gang at this moment in time. Experience about 1,000 as well. But Insignem just trying to hold on to their jungle for the time being. Surprised GetFisher's not farming even more, especially with this Golden Blade, which we see more and more people look towards. Get these camps cleared as quick as possible.
It's because Fisher spent a lot of time hugging corners, like what we just watched him do, in order to look for the big sonic boom plays onto DeathPanter. After FaraKrik got soloed in the last game against DeathPanter when he was left to his own devices, I think now that's kind of prompted Fisher in Game 2 to try and provide a little bit more help to his mid laners.
Sibi trying to deal with 2 on this right-hand side, steal away the blue, but won't find it. Sonic Boom is available for Fisher here if he looks for it, but he's not going to at the moment. Zearoe just going to double dash away, and the invade of the troop of Optimus Gang continues on this right-hand side.
But the members of Optimus Gang are steadily falling behind in XP, or at least the ones prioritizing rotating around so often. Fusify going to get pulled into the tower, but all eyes on the DeathPanter. He's the one going into the Taiko drums because Fisher actually found a nice sonic boom onto DeathPanter.
He did. We didn't get to catch that at the end, but I tell you what, if he had Golden Ball, DeathPanter would have been dead. FaraKrik going for the kill, really? Meanwhile, Joshy rotates, punishes Fusify for overstaying his welcome. FaraKrik still hanging around for that kill on DeathPanter, has to now change his mind. And he's in a bit of a dangerous territory here for the time being, but nobody's aware of it, so he should be okay. GetFisher, though, different story. He got the beads off, but he couldn't get out of danger.
Once that Meek form comes into play, or was that the Ming? I actually couldn't tell with how fastly he's transformed.
It was the turtle because he knocked
it looked like the turtle, and that's where the preemptive beads came from. Either way, it just not a lot of response time there for Fisher. And after having already expended the special delivery, there's just no way that he was going to be able to create enough space to get away from LASBRA or Joshy there. So
back to an even game we go. Then Insignem have tied up the gold at least for the time being. Optimus Gang, their biggest leads I'm looking at is really Sibi in the solo lane. Even Kespainify, who's been left alone with most of the farm on this left-hand side with Fusify not being there, is still at a deficit because he's being pushed out of the lane so much.
But Insignem are the ones leading in kills, despite Optimus Gang feeling like the ones who are initiating everything.
He really is at the time being. Now though, right-hand side, Zearoe still farming up, working towards what's probably going to be a breastplate of Valor next, which you see mainly out of the Terra. You want the MP5, you want the physical defense, especially against the likes of a Bellona and a Mercury.
LASBRA, though, probably not going to be able to make it over to defend Zero's blue buff this time, and Sibi, doubt that he really cares too much. No, in fact, because Sibi started rotating towards the mid lane, he'll actually be late towards that blue buff. I think that if he'd gone to it right away, he would have been able to reconfirm that for himself and again strip it away from Zearoe, but it seems like Insignem have one more time.
Well, FaraKrik was trying to catch Joshy on this purple, and the blink over from Fusify looking for the pick too. Doesn't find the throwback, but he does get the groggy strike off, which gets the beats on a Joshy. Small win for Optimus Gang and a trade of relics.
Surprised that Joshy would trade out the beat so soon, but Fisher's got more problems to worry about. He's going to get rooted in place right behind the Gold Fury. DeathPanter will make quick work of him. Fusify's still on the run, going to epic uppercut LASBRA straight into the air, but there is no escape for this Kumbhakarna.
Genetics is having a great set today on the Sylvanus. Joshy's going to clean up FaraKrik too. Gold Fury could be on the cards for Insignem off that, and it's all down to that pull from Genetics that just picked GetFisher at the worst possible moment for him.
Insignem are just outplaying Optimus Gang at their own game. Optimus Gang, they thought that they had the jump on Joshy there for a moment. Sibi started to look as though he might be interested in rotating even with the teleport. off cooldown, but there's no chance of him being involved when a fight takes place that far away from him.
When you look at the start of the game, Taco, I mean, it was LASBRA's jungle that was invaded, and he was slowed down at the start by Fusify, but he still managed to gather up a 2-level lead now over GetFisher, and it's not an easy task to do against the Mercury.
He recovered so well because Fisher spent too much time hugging corners, looking for the sonic booms, as opposed to just hyper farming. And not only that, but LASBRA was also able to split a lot of creep wave farm with DeathPanter in the mid lane, and it never really felt like FaraKrik was able to grab enough heartbeats to create an experience lead over the Raijin.
Yeah, definitely. It's really weird because if you look at Mercury and you look at Janus, I'm like, those are definitely the two that would out-farm their opponents in this game. Janus versus Raijin, yeah, you've got the mobility to walk around corners and clear. Fisher going to take a fight against Genetics, though. Has to be careful because LASBRA's around the corner. Joshy taking on Fusify, who's hiding in the pit, but 3 members grouping on Fusify. Kumba is trapped in the purple. Going to get some support from GetFisher, but now they're all overextended in enemy territory.
Joshy going to get clipped by that through space and time. Fusify and FaraKrik looking to further collapse onto him, but FaraKrik is already on the retreat. Same could be said for Fusify, who had to get out of dodge, but LASBRA and Genetics still giving chase to FaraKrik now after portaling further.
A lot of engage from Optimus Gang on the left-hand side. Meanwhile, right-hand side, Sibi just take down the tier 1 tower at least. Pull again from Genetics into the ult. He might get a solo kill into FaraKrik. The Wisps will be good enough. Genetics is trying to push Insignem to the placement stage and get their way into the chance to go to DreamHack by taking down Optimus Gang. This is Optimus Gang's match point. If they lose this, they are out of the contention for the rest of the year.
DeathPanter just shows up to the party, and it is an absolute rip down of Optimus Gang. All off of Genetics pulling in FaraKrik from the lazy back. That's all it comes down to. FaraKrik probably knew Genetics was right behind him and just didn't bother looking to proto forward. So he gets pulled, and then he ends up losing his purification beads.
Okay.
It's just a series of unfortunate events here, but
Here
one that
comes
Optimus Gang
Sibi.
aligned for.
Eagles rally onto 3, got the extra protections, but the tower's still going to go down. Looking for the kill on Genetics, but Genetics with a good pull. Sibi now in trouble, getting all in. No support coming in for him. He came over at level 14, trying to defend the tier 1 tower instead. He'll die, and they will F6 again. Yeah, okay. I'm not sold on the F6 there. Your whole career, your whole year of Season 5 on the line. You lose him, and you just hit the F6 button.
On both games.
I think a lot of that is
games.
down to tilt more than anything else. I'm not going to put it any other way.
Purely player frustration shining through, but at the same time you have to consider if they're going to tilt this much when they're just trying to qualify themselves, could they really handle the competitive environment of what the placement rounds are going to consist of?
It's been a rough year for Optimus Gang, honestly, in a weird way, because their full split was fantastic with Johnny on the cards, but Johnny not being available has really hurt them here today quite clearly. Optimus Gang are eliminated from the competition, and now it's just Insignem versus Poppies for who comes to the placement stage.
It'll be a pretty tight matchup, too, between Insignem and the Poppies. Based off how both have performed today, I think that we saw a little bit better insight towards Optimus Gang in that Poppy set. It seems like after that Poppy set took place, that a little bit too much player frustration activated once Insignem started to really pull away in those early games.
Not going to hold back. I think Optimus Gang were an embarrassment there. Double F6. I'm not about that when your tournament life's on the line, in all fairness. Let's get down to the desk to break down that fast.
Thanks, Indy. Thanks, Taco. Definitely frustrating if you're a fan of Optimus Gang out there, as they're unable to grab a win, even unable to finish a game. They have to surrender both of them. And clearly, Ryan, something's awry here for this Optimus Gang roster, I would say. We don't really have a way to know exactly what it is. A ton of possibilities, but unfortunately, they're the ones that go down, and Insignem Poppies between them.
I completely agree with Indyman. I mean, the situation aside, I don't care if they have to play with 4 subs. The fact that you're not willing to play it out in that spot is disappointing, and I think it says a lot about the mindset of these players individually. Regardless of, again, we don't know if it's just tilt or, you know, issues with whatever. If you can play the game, play the game. And the fact that they aren't willing to, look, game 1, you're down by 1 million, you've got 2 games in hand theoretically. Sure, I'll buy it. It went to F6 like that in 13 minutes to end your season, regardless of how the game was going, I think is a disservice to the work that they put in throughout the year, and also a disservice to the fans who came to watch.
It is definitely disappointing for them, and when you're up against an opponent like Insignem, it definitely can feel like there's no way for it to end up being successful for you, and they end up gifting one away. Insignem will be the winners here of that set, and Genetics will be named as the MVP. For as difficult as things look for Optimus Gang, they looked quite easy for Genetics. Still finding the crazy pulls, still finding the routes to set up for the team. This time, not even letting them back and able to clean up on the back end of it. So if Genetics can continue to play like this, it's not just Optimus Gang with problems. It might be Poppy's too.
It's true. I mean, Genetics on the Sylvanus, man, it was that play on the lazy back. It was the pull on GetFisher into the Gold Fury pit, which was insane. Yeah. I mean, he played great. And then I think that Insignem as a team was, towards the beginning of the year, it was the DeathPanter and LASBRA show. And then Joshy stepped up and started playing better. And then Zearoe stepped up and started playing better. And now Genetics has really stepped up and become a top-tier talent as well in the European minor leagues. So that makes this team feel nearly impossible to beat when they're playing like that.
And as we bid adieu to Optimus Gang here, a lot of things I think that kind of stacked up against them here, and things didn't go right. But I definitely agree. You want to at least try and finish it out, and unfortunately, unable to do that here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule one more time. We mentioned sort of those worst case scenarios, right, where we could be here all day playing through tiebreakers. Well, you no longer have to worry about that. It's actually going to be pretty cut and dry. Poppy's and Insignem going to come in each with a win apiece up against Optimus Gang. So the winner of Insignem versus Poppy's, they're the ones that are going through. And again, they play, I believe, in A they're going to be their opponent. I think it's Trifecta that they're going to be going up against.
Yes.
The winner of this matchup. So it's a tough matchup waiting for them on the other end.
It is, but it's a chance to come to America and prove that they've got what it takes.
That's
and I think that Insignem in particular are really looking forward to that. The Poppies, if they can make it to be able to come to the new studio and check it out and give a chance to see how well they stack up against the top-tier competition in the world, I think it'd be a great opportunity for them.
And it's double elim. Even if they lose that first match at Trifecta, they'll get another try, so then you don't have to come in and beat the best of the best right away. There's definitely room for you to try and improve throughout the life of that tournament, but we'll get to all that, of course, on the back end of this.